Hey guys, welcome back. Kayla Lindsay here. We are gonna go ahead and tack on to the last video I did, which was talking about scripts for Sphere, past clients, as well as potentially past colleagues. Now, in that video, I had mentioned that we are going to define our clients and figure out who are A clients and then beyond. So let's dive in. So let's talk about this. We actually have the ability to figure out whether our clients are A clients, B clients, C clients, or D clients. Now, if anybody went through school, I am pretty sure we know that A is what we're going for, right? A would be our absolute ideal client. Now, here's the cool thing. These don't have to just be past clients. I have people who have referred me business, a lot of business, that have never bought and sold with me. It doesn't mean they bought and sold with someone else, it just means that they haven't bought or sold. But they are one of my biggest cheerleaders and one of my biggest advocates. Now here's the difference between an advocate and a cheerleader. A cheerleader is someone who will rah-rah you from the sidelines and will love on you and promote you, but not necessarily someone who will advocate or stand up and make some noise and say, no, this is the person you need to work with. Let me get you her phone number. You know what, let me just connect you directly through a phone call or a text message. You have to work with this person. That's an advocate. Now, in my opinion, both cheerleaders and advocates both belong in the A category. Why is that? These are people that we want to make sure get the most attention from us. Now, what I mean by that is there are people out there that they love giving, but they love giving and they love the feeling of the gratitude that they get from someone who they gave to. So let me explain that. If I refer business to you, I'm happy just to have referred business to you. But what makes me feel really, really happy and really noticed is when you thank me, either in a phone call or a text or a handwritten note or say, hey, let's go out to dinner. It doesn't matter. If you recognize what I did to help you, that's all I need. And most people are like that. Most people just want to be recognized that they did the right thing and they helped someone. Those are our A clients. Now, some people will call their A client list or their A clients, that grouping, their VIP list. So write this down. Create your VIP list of your top 40 clients. This could be clients, this could be agents that refer you business, right? Maybe from out of state. Make your list of your VIPs. Your VIPs are people that you will not only set up additional events for, but people you're going to call more often. You're going to send them a thank you note or a greeting card more often. You're going to engage with them more often than the other people in your list. So you're probably thinking to yourself, well, what do I do with the other three? Well, here's the thing. Your next level is going to be a B. Now, Bs, right, they're a little bit lower than As. Bs might be people that they know you, like you, trust you, but they really haven't referred any business. They only bought or sold once. Or maybe they're Sphere, right? So friends, family, people you know that are in that grouping that they love you and they support you, but they're not out cheerleading and blasting your name all over social media, right? There's nothing wrong with a B. Here's the cool thing. Bs can become As if properly spoken with and incentivized. We'll get into that in a second. Then you have your Cs. Now, C players are usually the clients, or I should say past clients or friends, family that they're on the sidelines, you've got their name and number, they're not doing a whole lot, but you have worked with them in the past, they are there, they do know you, like you, and trust you, but they're not talking up at all about you. They barely talk to you, they barely connect, but they're there and they're nice people and they do help because they personally buy and sell. Great, those are your Cs. Now, not all Cs and Bs will become As. So just understand that you're not going to convert all of those people into As. Some of that comes down to personality style, right? If you've got someone who's, let's say, a high C or high S, usually they're a little bit quieter. They're not someone who's going to be that outgoing and blast the name out. They might pass a phone number, but they're not going to say, you've got to call this person right now. They're amazing, right? That's just not how they work. So don't feel like you need to force or push those people up or give up on them just because they're not performing. Then we've got our D's. Now let's talk about D's for a second. I'm not really one to like to delete people out of my database because I have made mistakes in the past, and I spoke to this about actually the other day when I was doing some coaching with some clients of mine, where I made the assumption that someone didn't like me just because they weren't answering my texts or my emails or my phone calls, right? It always went to voicemail. And yet some of them have surprised me. There was one literally just this week that it's kind of one of those, hey, you know, you really should pay attention and not delete people. But this particular person, they had bought with me. I had spelled the husband's name wrong like 6 times throughout the transaction, and the wife did not like that at all. I don't blame her. I apologize thoroughly. I always miss the I. Anyway, I completely apologized every single time. But when the transaction was over, what happens? Well, we're not talking to those people as often, right? We got kind of used to speaking with them almost every other day. And now there's nothing, there's no communication because they don't need to communicate with us anymore. The transaction's over. But here's what happens. A lot of times we'll get into our heads and say, I don't think they like me. It ended on a sour note. They got mad at me that one time, now they're never gonna talk to me again. Here's what actually happened. They were a normal person that had no need for a real estate agent. They were still seeing all of the things coming into them and all of my drip marketing, but they had no need to reach back out. They're just not that kind of person. It's not their personality. So what happened? Well, after 4 or 5 years, I think it's been 5 years since I worked with them, she reached out at random in a text message and an email saying, hey, we're looking at these couple properties. Can you get us some information? Heck yeah, I can get you some information. It's freaking awesome. So I would have, if I was not properly looking at my database, would have just completely deleted them. So let's talk about the D's for a second. D's are not people that are quiet. So someone like I was just discussing, she would go in the C category, right? We've done business, she doesn't really talk or converse much, but I make sure I'm consistently touching her. D's are people who are jerks, right? The client that you absolutely loathe, right? It doesn't matter if you've already worked with them, by the way. If they suck as a human being, don't spend your time on them. Do not spend your time. We are in an incredible, honestly, probably the coolest job I could ever think of. We are in an incredible industry where we have the opportunity to choose who we work with, to choose who we work around. Don't waste your time and your energy on people who are just gonna suck the life out of you, right? If it was a terrible transaction, I've got something called the blacklist. Literally, we have a blacklist of clients. Now, honestly, if you're watching this, you're not on that list because you still follow me and we still converse, all right? But there are some people that I've had to put on that list for myself. They were people that became toxic through the transaction, made me feel bad about myself, or my team. I don't want that in my business. I don't want that in my life. So they get blacklisted. So what are D's? I know you're like, Kayla, you've not told me what a D is. D's are people who don't belong in your database. They're not people who would be getting a phone call every couple of weeks. They're the people that were the random lead you got that one time and never went anywhere, right? We've all gotten those leads either from Zillow or from some online website or some referral that you got that didn't go anywhere. Those are D's. They're people that you have no real connection with. They don't really know you, like you, or trust you. They never respond. They don't engage. Those are the people that go into the D category. Now, D can also stand for delete. You can work this any way you want. Some people prefer not to trash it completely, but instead archive it in their system, which is what we do. But what happens when we archive it? We don't worry about them anymore. They're not on our main list of people to call, text, and do one-on-one, face-to-face communication. They still get our drip marketing from emails or anything we send out, but we are not actively speaking to them. Because we want to focus our time when we're looking at building our sphere, and what we were talking about that last video, right? We're growing a garden of people, a network of people that know us, like us, and trust us, want to work with us, want to refer us. We are nurturing that. I don't need to nurture them. They don't know me, they don't like me, they don't trust me. There's nothing about us that is connected. They don't even know my name. That's why we don't bother wasting our time consistently trying to communicate with those people. Now, you can always throw them into a Mojo dialer list and put an ISA on it, or you can consistently follow up just to say, hey, if you really wanted to. But I recommend reach out to the people that are expireds, and if you've already had a few conversations, consistently build that relationship and do follow-ups. Don't worry about the people you've never had a conversation with. Because yes, it's a phone number and your database may look a little bit fluffed, but they're not going anywhere. They're not providing you any income at all whatsoever. So if you're going to focus your time, focus on people that are in the A, B, and C category, and your expireds, FSBOs, and probates. Those are your hot leads, right? Hot leads with more immediate closings, nurturing relationships. That's what these are. So in talking about the A's, B's, and C's, there's a lot of different things we can do to help nurture those relationships further and make sure we get where we're going. So here's the action item I have for you. Go through your database. It could take a few days, a few weeks. Honestly, chunk out 10 to 15 people per day and give them a label. In most CRMs, you can tag people. Tag them whether an A, B, or C. And you can write A client, B client, C client, right? And do it that way so when you remember what you were trying to do when you put that tag in there. But go through and figure that out. And in the next video, we're going to talk about what you can do for each of those groupings to increase your production and increase the connection that you have with those people so they remember you forever. So I hope you guys got some information and are going to take some action on this. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you here soon.